Jesse wiped the grease from his hands onto his already stained jumpsuit. As the transport shuttle descended through the purple-tinged atmosphere of Zalthar Station, the job posting had been vague emergency repair work, high pay, no questions asked. After 3 months of unemployment on Earth, Jesse wasn't in a position to be picky. Docking in 5, the automated voice announced. Through the viewport, Jesse could see the station, a massive spiral structure that seemed to pulse with bioluminescent light. It was unlike anything humanity had built, organic and crystalline at the same time, as if someone had convinced a coral reef to grow in the shape of a space station. The shuttle shuddered as it connected to the docking port. Jesse grabbed his toolkit, a battered metal case that had belonged to his grandfather, and stepped into the airlock. The moment the inner door opened, he knew he was out of his depth. The corridor beyond was enormous, easily 50 feet high, with walls that seemed to breathe. Phosphorescent veins pulsed through the architecture, and the air smelled of ozone and something floral he couldn't identify. A delegation waited for him, 3 towering figures with iridescent exoskeletons, and too many joints in their limbs. Human Jesse Corrigan? The center figure's voice came through a translator device that hung in the air like a soap bubble. That's me. Jesse tried to keep his voice steady. Follow. The Queen's vessel requires immediate attention. You come highly recommended. Jesse frowned. Recommended? By who? I just answered a job posting. The alien's compound eyes reflected his image 1,000 times over. The Galactic Repair Guild reviewed 17,000 applications. Your species has a reputation for unconventional problem solving. They led him through a maze of corridors until they reached a hangar that could have swallowed a small city. In the center, suspended by shimmering fields of energy, was a ship that made Jesse's breath catch. It was beautiful and terrible, a living vessel with wings of solidified light and a hull that shifted between colors that didn't exist in human language. This is the dying star's embrace, his escort explained. Personal flagship of Queen Velshara, sovereign of the crystalline expanse, commander of the Twilight Fleets, keeper of, yeah, I got it. She's important. Jesse set down his toolkit and stared up at the ship. What's wrong with it? The quantum resonance chamber has fallen out of phase. Our best engineers have attempted repairs for 6 cycles. Each attempt brings the ship closer to catastrophic collapse. Jesse circled the vessel, his practiced eye taking in details. The ship was powered by technology that shouldn't exist, at least not according to human physics. But under all the exotic matter and dimensional folding, he recognized something familiar. A heat exchange problem. The fundamentals of engineering were universal. Apparently, I need to see the chamber. The aliens exchanged glances that Jesse couldn't read. That section is sensitive. It is tied to the Queen's neural interface. Then get me the Queen. A silence fell over the hangar that felt like a physical weight. Finally, the lead alien spoke. You wish to address Her Majesty directly? I wish to fix her ship. Can't do that without understanding how she interfaces with it. 20 minutes later, Jesse found himself in a throne room that defied Euclidean geometry. Queen Velshara sat upon a seat that existed in multiple dimensions at once, her form both terrifying and magnificent. She was twice the size of her attendants, her exoskeleton decorated with precious metals that had been grown into intricate patterns. Her eyes, all 6 of them, focused on Jesse with an intensity that made his survival instinct scream. You are the human. Her voice bypassed the translator entirely, resonating directly in his skull. Yes, ma'am. Your Majesty, I'm here about your ship. My engineers say it cannot be repaired. They say the phase variance has progressed beyond recovery. A wave of her primary limb dismissed the notion. Yet you believe otherwise? Jesse pulled out a battered tablet from his toolkit and called up the scans he'd taken. Your Majesty, your ship is incredible. The technology is centuries beyond anything humans have made. But there's a design flaw. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. You criticize the craft of the royal shipwrights? I'm saying they made it too complicated. Jesse surprised himself with his boldness. But he'd never been good at political games. The quantum chamber is trying to maintain phase coherence across 17 different dimensional anchors. But you don't need 17, you need 3. The rest are redundant. and they're creating interference patterns. He manipulated the holographic display, showing the energy flows. See here and here, these nodes are fighting each other. In human engineering, we call this over-design. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. Queen Velshara leaned forward, her massive form suddenly interested rather than threatening. You propose simplification? Reduction of the royal vessel's complexity? I propose making it work. Jesse met her gaze, or at least he tried to meet all 6 of her eyes at once. Your Majesty, I'm just a mechanic from Denver, but I know heat, energy, and stress points. Let me try. For a long moment, the Queen was silent. Then, something that might have been a laugh resonated through the chamber. The Galactic Guild was correct about your species. You have audacity. She gestured with a crystalline talon. Proceed. If you succeed, you will be rewarded. If you fail and destroy my vessel, you will be. Educated about the cost of hubris, Jesse spent the next 18 hours inside the quantum chamber, working with tools that weren't designed for human hands, translating alien engineering principles into concepts he understood. He rerouted energy conduits, collapsed redundant dimensional anchors, and rebuilt the phase coherence matrix using what his grandfather would have called good old-fashioned elbow grease and common sense. The alien engineers watched with a mixture of horror and fascination as Jesse stripped away their elegant complexity and replaced it with brutal efficiency. When he finally emerged, covered in quantum fluid and smelling of ozone, he looked like he'd been through a war. Fire it up, he said. The dying star's embrace came alive with a sound like 1,000 bells ringing in harmony. The hull blazed with colors that made human eyes water, and the quantum chamber hummed in perfect phase for the first time in weeks. Queen Velshara materialized beside Jesse in a shimmer of displaced air. For a moment, he thought he might die. Then she placed one massive talon on his shoulder gently, carefully. Human Jesse Corrigan, you have done what my finest engineers could not. You saw past complexity to truth. This is the gift of your kind. You do not accept impossibility. Jesse grinned, exhausted. We're stubborn that way, Your Majesty. Indeed. The Queen's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. How would you like a new position? Royal Chief Engineer has a pleasant ring to it. Jesse looked at his grandfather's toolkit, then at the impossible ship he'd just repaired, then at the alien queen who'd just offered him the universe. You know what? Why the hell not?